Thank you very much for attending this information session on Bike Party. We're a social media app that is looking to encourage active transport by coordinating group bicycle riding. I'm the founder and chief technology officer, and we're presenting as a part of AcceliGOV Edition 1 2025. So the world is kind of facing a few different challenges across different fronts. We're all aware of rising global temperatures as a result of climate change, and a lot of jurisdictions are seeking solutions to reduce our carbon emissions. The world, ever since particularly COVID-19, has faced poor physical and mental health outcomes. We're less active and we're more stressed now than ever. And furthermore, cost of living pressures are increasing. So we are seeing the middle class slowly disappearing, and we're seeing people struggling with their day-to-day essentials. And cities are looking to active transport as a very novel way to tackle these three challenges. However, cities are having trouble measuring their active transport participation. It's often limited to fixed position tracking devices, like you'll see in the first screenshots, manual surveys where we have counters on particular days, people who are standing in there and just counting number of cyclists going by. And in number three, we have proprietary hardware tracking devices on bicycles. These are usually GPS trackers attached to bicycle lights. And these are great solutions in their own way, but they do struggle to give a comprehensive picture across all cycling users. Furthermore, we've also seen um, active transport become a bit of a political football, especially in Australia here. We've seen investment in active transport infrastructure that has been removed at citizen complaints, which has resulted in bike paths being laid and then further removed. And in this particular case, in Canada Bay in New South Wales, Australia, $17,000 of taxpayer funds was wasted on removing a bike lane, which meant that $7 million of cycleways has been now compromised because there wasn't the data to justify the business case to begin with. And furthermore, in the local government elections, we've seen candidates campaign on the basis of removing bike lanes, and they've been very aggressive in their campaigns, saying that we will remove the bike paths. And we feel all this is due to the fact that there is a lack of a business case, there's a lack of data around active transport. To that end, we've made the Bike Party platform. So it's a very simple application. You go to bikeparty.com.au, create a profile, you search for a party that matches your needs, and then you meet up with your new friends and ride to your destination. However, for cities, we do have a special data portal which allows cities to visualize the way that their citizens interact with their active transport infrastructure. So obviously, you can see on the left-hand side, there is the statistics around gender, age, demographics, but more importantly, we can visualize this on a map. And in this particular case here in the city of Sydney, we can see that the King Street cycleway, which is highlighted in the square, the rectangle box, for some reason, the cycleway ends. And I've been on that bike path, and you either have to dismount your bike and walk along the footpath, or you have to compete with the other heavy vehicles. Doesn't create a very good cycling experience. And furthermore, we can see here that these are two particular locations where bike parties start and end. And this can give us an opportunity to identify opportunities for parking infrastructure, end of trip facilities, and you can see now our business cases are based around data we've got on a platform rather than lobbying, rather than petitions, and we feel this is a much more sustainable way of investing in active transport infrastructure. And furthermore, to encourage people to join our bike rides, to have fun, we're looking to do e-try karaoke as a part of our upcoming pilots. We see it as a fun way to get people to engage in active transport that is not really been that's done in some cities, but we think it's going to be a unique way to get people to reconsider active transport as a means of getting around. So to that end, how does our pilot projects work? So in this case here, we focus on a particular point of interest. In this case here, it's a school or it could be a workplace. We will then work with a particular neighborhood, and in this neighborhood here, they will ride together to meet at a central point. They'll then ride together to their destination. And the example of this blue house, they happen to work nearby, so they'll just continue their journey onto their work. And as you could imagine, they just continue the process in reverse when for the school pickup. And once we've taken on their feedback and made adjustments, we will then repeat this with other neighborhoods. And eventually, we would hope to do this with other schools. Excuse me. We also want to start measuring active transport usage and give cities more data around their infrastructure. In this case here, the blue family has their usual ride to work, but then for some reason they stop using this and they start going down a different path. This will give cities some information and lines of inquiry. Maybe that people don't feel safe to ride in this street anymore. Maybe there's an obstacle that people aren't able to use that path and having to divert into other areas. Once again, it's following that philosophy of data-driven insights and starting to use data to help us make citizen lives better. We also are building a data platform to allow citizens to report issues with their active transport infrastructure. So, for instance, if there is a tree blocking a cycle path, then this will allow citizens to make a report, and this will allow your city officials to go and rectify the problems with it. And finally, we're working on a mobile app right now, and it will use a phone's onboard sensors to detect issues with transport infrastructure. So, for instance, if you're riding along and the path is unsteady, you'd see your phone vibrate, and you would see that in the phone sensors, and we'd be able to automatically detect issues. Also, if people are having to swerve to avoid certain obstacles, you would see that in a sudden change in motion. This is once again all fully automated and detectable for our platform. And ultimately, what I want to start doing is to empower cities with the opportunity to start exploring different concepts around active transport. This is a case study that we've seen where a two-lane street in front of a school has been changed to a one-lane street. On-street parking has been removed. And we can see that this allows the students in this school a lot more opportunities to ride to school, to walk to school, and creating a much safer environment for the students. We want to facilitate this kind of experimentation through our platform. And as a bit of a case study, we're actually working with the city of Venice right now to encourage bicycle riding for the citizens in Venice. And this is an example bike ride we are planning for the workers at the Marco Polo International Airport. So some of the suburban Venetians can would ride in a group together to reach the airport. So to give you a bit of an idea about the project timeline, so in the if we do go ahead with a pilot project, we will spend the first 2 months working with different stakeholders, planning routes, and ultimately at the end of that 2 month, we would say we are going to do these group these group bike rides at these locations with these individuals. And then we would then continue to work with the cyclists to see what they like, what they don't like, modify the group bike rides, and and then see how well we can expand this out. And as a part of the AcceliGOV program, this is a complementary offering that we are doing with the cities. And of course, as a part of that, you would get access to our subject matter experts. You get access to the city dashboard for the pilot project. We would then work with your city officials to plan the group bike rides around a point of interest. And we will also prioritize implementation of your feedback compared to our regular feedback cycles. Post the pilots, we would then expand the stakeholder reach and we would target different geographical areas. Our pricing policy for all of those inclusions is $2 to $10 per square kilometer per month. Because we are coming through the AcceliGOV program, we would like to offer particular special plans that wouldn't be typically open to the public. So we would make sure we give a very exciting deal for AcceliGOV participants. In terms of our competitive advantage and what we offer versus other platforms, we are targeting commuters. There are other apps out there like All Trails, which are targeting the recreational user. We are focusing on the commuter experience. There are other apps out there, well, like fitness for personal fitness, which focus on leaderboards and being the best athlete. We are focusing on beginners. We don't care about leaderboards. We want people to just go out there, have fun, and get their daily exercise in there. Furthermore, like I said, we're also working on patentable technology like our infrastructure detection algorithms to help cities detect issues in their infrastructure they might not normally detect without having to wait for people to provide feedback to the correct officials. In terms of our business model, we do operate on a freemium business model where anybody can create and join a bike party free of charge. But if you wanted to restrict these parties to only select audiences, so for instance, if you are in a school administrator and you only want these bike parties available to your students, or if you are working in human resources or in people management in a company and you only want these bike parties available to your employees, that's where a fee would be charged. We are also working on a specialist brand called Escorted Parties, where we will work with cycling experts to make sure that your bike parties are escorted from start to finish, increasing the safety of their journey and making sure they get to their destination on time. We also want to work in customer referrals as well. So things like if you, because we are a data-driven platform, we can then generate insights on customers. So for instance, your local bike shop could give you a discounted servicing once you've reached 200 kilometers on your bicycle. And of course, we have the data platform to allow cities to start making those data-driven insights. So, in terms of our journey to date, we've been endorsed by Transport for New South Wales, which is our state-based transit agency. We graduated from their Active Transport Bike Riding Innovation Challenge, and we're recognized as one of their endorsed apps. We also participated in the Smart Cities Innovation Challenge, where we worked with the New South Wales government to facilitate female-only group bicycle rides as a part of helping women and girls feel safer in public spaces. And as a result of that, we found a phenomenal transformation in attitudes towards active transport. Women who said that do not feel safe riding a bike in Sydney went from that original feeling to, hey, I'll actually go buy a bike now because that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was, which was a very, very warm reception. We also run the Startup Riders program, where startup founders who are in the Sydney area will ride together from from the CBD into the Centennial Park, which is around a 30-minute bike ride. And we meet up with other runners who do a 5K run, and then we have coffee and just net socialize, really, because I think as any startup founder would know, it can be a very lonely journey. And finally, one of our proudest achievements is that we are the semi-finalists in the Toyota Mobility Foundation Sustainable Cities Challenge, where we're working with the City of Venice to increase active transport usage for the Venetian citizens. Thank you very much for your time. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have in the meantime, but we're looking forward to helping everybody get out there and live happier, healthier lives. Thank you very much.